I'm Hazel, it's Saturday today, which makes it time to sit down and catch up on the WoW news of the week, what I have been up to, and answer some of your questions. This week, the big WoW news was more Blizzard news, and that, of course, was that Microsoft has purchased Activision Blizzard. Cost them $68.7 billion with a B, but they did it. This deal will take quite some time to process, as big, complicated, expensive things do, and is expected to wrap sometime kind of summer of 2023-ish. Meanwhile, until then, Blizzard is going to keep on keeping on as they have. They're going to continue to operate autonomously until the deal closes, again, kind of 2023-ish, at which point they're going to report to Microsoft. Specifically Phil Spencer, head of Xbox. So for us in these parts, the next big question is, what does this mean for World of Warcraft? And I don't know if we know the answer, but I think the answer is probably nothing for now, and possibly nothing ever, or at least nothing that's like easy to trace. It's really tough to say, and nothing is going to really happen for some time. So as much fun as the Clippy memes are, I don't think that Phil Spencer or Satya Nadella or indeed Bill Gates, who isn't the CEO anymore, is going to have anything personally to do with patch 9.2. It's very much an open question of how directly involved Microsoft will be when they do finally finish this deal. We don't know yet what kind of pressures or direction they might put onto Activision Blizzard. We can look to franchises that they already own, things like Minecraft and Doom, to get an example of how Microsoft has managed the gaming companies they've acquired in the past. But for what it means for Activision Blizzard, we'll wait and see. I am inclined to be optimistic, mostly because Blizzard has been messy for a couple of years now, and it feels like they're getting increasingly messier as time goes on, both in terms of their culture scandals, but also game releases and game delays. So whenever things are going poorly, I feel like a big change, a big roll of the dice like this feels more likely to be a good thing, because, you know, heck it, whatever's going on now clearly isn't working all that great. Maybe something new. I don't have any personal experience with this, but I wouldn't expect a lot of micromanagement out of it. I think it's more of a question of, does Microsoft add pressure for things like short-term gains through like microtransaction and rushing out content in order to kind of create those little spikes that shareholders like to see? Or do they have the patience to give the devs the time and the trust they need to make something really special, and then trust that the growth is going to follow after that? I don't know. Fingers crossed for the good one. Speaking of changes that we're optimistic for, it has been reported, but not confirmed yet, that following the acquisition, Bobby Kotick may depart the company, because the Blizzard's going to report to Phil Spencer as CEO, so the role of Bobby, who is currently CEO, is kind of fuzzy. However, it does seem like he is staying on during that transition period that goes through to like summer 2023 or so. And if he is ultimately leaving, he is certainly doing it on his own terms. He has been doing the rounds of news interviews talking about how it was just a really good time to sell and what a great deal, and how the stock price hit that Activision Blizzard has taken over the past year is definitely because of the Overwatch and the Diablo delays, and nothing at all to do with the scandal, you know. Couldn't be his fault. It feels kind of scummy for him to be shifting blame onto the development teams after the 2 years that they've been through, but I don't know if I expected any better from him. Speaking of culture at Blizzard, Mikey Barr this week has put out a new post detailing what specifically Blizzard leadership is doing to improve culture this year. He wants to rebuild trust in Blizzard, and there's a number of actions laid out that in theory should work towards doing that. These things all look nice on paper, but it's hard to say how well this kind of thing will actually work until it's been given time to work and then hopefully be iterated on. It seems like they're creating a lot of positions for people to have paid work that it is their job to help improve the culture and make it a safe place to work. But who are they hiring for those positions, and who do they report to, and what kind of metrics do they use, and is it going to genuinely make things safer, or is it going to be a system designed to make it sound like everything's okay? You know, is it supposed to smooth over problems and make them go away so that they isn't a problem, or is it supposed to fix problems? It's kind of impossible to say until it's been given a chance. I feel like I will feel better if Blizzard can go a year or two without another gigantic meltdown, and I will believe that when I see it. He did mention at the end of that post that there will be new content announcements for Blizzard games next week, which is kind of exciting, although it feels a little bit odd tacked onto that post, but all right. No hints on what franchise that could be for, though, so it could be something WoW related, or it could be entirely something else. In 9.2 news this week, Wowhead has data mined what could be the new ahead of the curve mount. It is a kind of Xerath Mortisy Mechaspider, and incidentally, it also seems that Mechaspider mounts, including the ones that we got from Mechagon, are going to be able to fly in 9.2, which is kind of cool. Actually, there was some big 9.2 news this week with a change to something we talked about last week, which was the double legendary acquisition. They have decided it will no longer be rep, and they wrote a whole bunch about it. The short version of it is instead they are putting the second legendary, the legendary belt that's your Covenant legendary, behind the 7th chapter of the new campaign. So instead of needing rep, it's going to be just on keeping up with the campaign, which should be less effort intensive. It's still going to be a bit time gated. That's going to be available in the 5th week of the patch, but you don't have to grind a rep in order to get your second legendary now. However, if you would like to have that legendary memory unlocked for all of your alts, you will want the rep for that. The item is still going to stay on the vendor, but that is the account-wide unlock. You can get it for your main just by doing the campaign quest. They also wrote quite a bit in this post about why they delayed the belt at all. They talked about how players expect the first weeks of raid to be a certain level of challenging, but then it's quite satisfying to get a power bump in the middle of that or like a little ways into that, so you can kind of struggle and push as far as you can and then get that power boost to help you get past the part that you were stuck on effectively. There's lots to read on it. I will link the whole post. Separately, there was also a lengthy dev write-up this week on tier set bonuses and what their goals are for tier set bonus design and acquisition and stuff. Overall, whether you agree with what's said or not, it is very much worth reading, super interesting, and I am very impressed with the level of dev communication, especially because stuff like this is long and not easy or fast to write up. And it's always interesting to read what the thought process is behind these decisions. So I hope that they managed to keep the communication up because it's been really cool. One piece of communication we're still waiting for is any kind of release date news for, 9.2 or any kind of an expansion announcement, perhaps. There have been rumors and expansion leaks rampant, which I feel like means the appetite for an expansion announcement is reaching a pretty good level. I have not personally seen the leaks. I couldn't be bothered to read them. There's leaks every time that people start hankering for an expansion announcement, and they're almost always, they get like 1 or 2 names right, and the rest of it is just pure fan fiction. If you ever feel yourself starting to get like really excited or invested or angry about a leaked expansion announcement, do yourself a favor and go Google some of the old leaked expansion announcements for expansions that have already happened and then kind of check what the track record's like. I like to try to save my excited energy for when things are either officially announced or at least like data mined. I would guess, based on nothing but the atmosphere, that there will be news soon. Then in my life this week, I have been playing Animal Crossing. I was telling myself that I would get back into it whenever I had time, and then I guess I finally decided I have time. I certainly have a couch now. So I've been playing a lot of Happy Home Paradise, the vacation home design DLC. I get deeply, deeply lost in that. It's amazing how much time I can waste trying to pick a fictional rug. And then in WoW, I am still chipping away at trying to collect the Shadowlands Covenant and Zone mounts. I have been dumping anima into the Ember Court and then trying to figure out the Ember Court. I just need 1 mount from there, so I just got to suck up to 1 person. It should be fine. I just got to get it up to rank 4, I think. And questions for this week. Jason asks, have you seen the rumors about a dragon-focused next expansion? Do you think this could be granting any of the long-asked-for community wishes, such as Dragon Isles, dragon-focused hero class, a healing hero class? Considering how contentious Shadowlands has been, they're a relatively safe focus for a fantasy setting. So yeah, I have heard some rumors. I feel like something Dragon-y is pretty credible. At this point, it would not surprise me at all. I am down for a dragon race or class or zones or all of the above. Dungeons, raids, minigames, world quests, whatever. I'm into it. I think that the different dragonflight colors offer some really nice variety for some different zone aesthetics. And fingers crossed that if they do a new class, that there is, like you say, a healer class, but also ranged DPS. A new ranged DPS spec would be really cool. They've never added one. They've only ever added melee DPS, tanks, and healers. So that would be neat if they do decide to do one. And then Steampunk Pixie asks, what was the last book you read? So I am knee-deep into the Wheel of Time series. I am on the 3rd one, which means that the last one I finished would have been the Hunt. What do they call it? The Great Hunt? I don't look at the cover a whole lot because I'm reading them digitally, but I am gripped. I like to read before bed, and it's a problem because they're good. They're so good that they keep me up. I'm staying up too late because I keep reading after I'm supposed to be sleepy. But that's been very much scratching my fantasy itch. I usually just reread A Song of Ice and Fire like every second year, and that was starting to get a little tired after the bajillionth time of them still not being finished. So this has been good. And Chevy Guy asks, is there any way to monetize or utilize cataloged research after you've purchased everything from the archivist? Not really. I read your question and I also wanted to know, because I am also kind of accumulating catalog research that I have nothing left to do with, and I looked and I don't think there's anything good. You can't cash it out, you can't send it to alts. You can buy the relic examination techniques item to send to your alts. That will give them an improved rate of archivist codex rep, but chances are they probably don't need the archivist codex rep at this point. It would be nice if you could do something with it, especially because anybody that's still farming Paragon cash mounts is going to be accumulating quite a lot of it, but doesn't seem like there's anything. After I got my Paragon cash mount to drop, I pretty much stopped doing any cataloged research stuff because I didn't need it anymore. If I do Korthia, I am just there for anima and gold. And that has been the week. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions for any of these videos, please leave them in the comments and include the word question. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.